Welcome to Kindred History, where we revive the stories of remarkable women who changed the world. In this episode, we travel to 7th century China during the dazzling Tang Dynasty, where one extraordinary woman rose from concubine to become the only female emperor in Chinese history. Her name was Wu Zetian, strategist, politician, reformer, emperor. For decades, she navigated the deadly politics of the imperial court, outmaneuvered powerful rivals, and ruled one of the greatest empires on earth. Now let us step back into history and begin. Wu Zetian was born around the year 624 during the Tang Dynasty, one of the golden ages of ancient China. The Tang Empire was wealthy, sophisticated, and culturally brilliant. Poetry, trade, art, and science flourished. But despite its greatness, society remained deeply patriarchal. Women were expected to know their place. Most would never hold political power. Wu Zetian was different from the beginning. Her father, Wu Shiyue, had supported the rebellion that helped overthrow the Sui dynasty and establish the Tang dynasty. He later rose to become a senior government official, giving young Wu an early glimpse into both political power and how quickly fortunes could change. He also believed his daughter deserved an education. While many girls were taught little beyond domestic duties, Wu learned how to read, write, and understand politics. She studied history. She listened carefully, and she learned how power worked. According to later accounts, Wu was intelligent, observant, and unusually confident, traits that would both help and haunt her throughout her life. At around 14 years old, she entered the imperial court as a concubine to Emperor Taizong. The forbidden city glittered with wealth and ceremony, but behind the silk curtains and golden halls was a dangerous world of rivalry and survival. Hundreds of women competed for influence. One mistake could ruin a life. One whisper could destroy a family. Wu quickly understood the rules of the palace, and she learned how to play the game better than most. When Emperor Taizong died in 649, Wu Zetian's future should have ended with him. Tradition demanded that childless concubines be sent away to Buddhist convents for the rest of their lives, and for a time, that is exactly what happened. For several years, Wu remained behind convent walls. Her story should have disappeared there, but fate and ambition had other plans. Taizong's son, Emperor Gaozong, remembered her. Some historians believe the two had formed a connection while she was still at court. Others believe Wu carefully engineered her return. Either way, she eventually returned to the palace, and once she returned, she rose quickly. Very quickly. Gaozong became deeply attached to her. At the time, the emperor's official wife, Empress Wang, had no children. Over time, Wu bore Gaozong 6 children, 4 sons and 2 daughters, dramatically strengthening her position within the palace. Wu was clever, politically sharp, and far more capable than many around him. Soon, she began eliminating rivals. According to traditional accounts, Wu's infant daughter had died suddenly inside the palace. Wu blamed the death on the emperor's official wife, Empress Wang. The accusation shocked the court. Empress Wang was removed, imprisoned, and later killed under brutal circumstances. In 655, Wu Zetian became Empress of China, but rumours spread for centuries afterward. Some later historians claimed Wu herself may have killed the baby to frame the empress. There is no definitive proof. Some modern scholars believe the story was invented later by male Confucian historians determined to portray powerful women as monstrous. Others believe it may have happened. The truth remains uncertain. But one thing was clear. Wu Zetian was willing to do whatever was necessary to survive, and eventually, to rule. Around the year 660, Emperor Gaozong's health began to seriously decline, and Wu increasingly took control of government affairs. Officials who underestimated her quickly regretted it. She read government reports. She advised on military strategy. She handled court decisions. And gradually, ministers realized the true power in the palace no longer sat solely with the emperor. It sat beside him. When court traditions discouraged women from openly ruling, Wu sometimes governed from behind a bamboo curtain while officials addressed the throne. As Emperor Gaozong's health continued to decline, her influence over the empire only grew stronger. Wu Zetian was not simply intelligent, she was politically brilliant. She expanded the civil service examination system, allowing talented men from ordinary backgrounds to rise through merit rather than noble birth. This weakened the old aristocracy and strengthened the government. Many historians consider this one of her greatest achievements. She also supported agriculture, lowered taxes in some regions, and encouraged educational reforms. Some of her policies also elevated the status of women within court rituals and government. Under her leadership, parts of the empire prospered, but her rule was also harsh, very harsh. Wu developed a feared secret police network. Officials suspected of disloyalty could be imprisoned, tortured, or executed. People learned to fear palace politics. Some ministers disappeared overnight. Others confessed to crimes under pressure. Wu understood something many rulers throughout history understood. Fear could protect power, but fear also creates enemies, and Wu Zetian made many enemies. When Emperor Gaozong died in 683, Wu continued ruling through her sons while tightening her grip on the empire. Within a few years, she would take the final step toward absolute power. In the year 690, at around 66 years old, Wu Zetian did something no woman in Chinese history had ever officially done. She declared herself Emperor of China, not Empress Dowager, not caretaker, Emperor. She founded her own Zhou dynasty and ruled in her own name. She now ruled an empire of nearly 50 million people, one of the largest and most powerful civilizations on Earth. This shocked the Confucian establishment. Confucian teachings placed men above women in nearly every area of society. To many scholars and officials, a woman ruling openly was unnatural. Some considered it offensive. Others considered it dangerous. Wu answered opposition with force. But she also understood symbolism. She carefully used Buddhist prophecy and religious imagery to strengthen her legitimacy. Some texts even described her as a sacred ruler chosen by heaven. As Wu grew older, tensions inside the court increased. Some officials worried about her growing dependence on favorites and advisors. Others feared instability. By her 80s, pressure mounted against her rule. In 705, a palace coup forced Wu Zetian to step down. The Tang Dynasty was restored. Not long afterward, she died. She was around 80 years old, an extraordinary age for the time. And even in death, Wu Zetian left behind one final mystery. Her tomb contains a famous blank stone monument. Unlike other rulers who filled their monuments with praise and achievements, Wu's stone remained empty. Some believe she intended future generations to judge her for themselves. Others think no words could fully capture her complicated legacy. Perhaps both are true. Wu Zetian remains one of history's most fascinating rulers. A woman who rose from concubine to emperor. A leader capable of both reform and brutality. Traditional historians often described her as cruel, manipulative, and dangerously ambitious. but modern scholars argue she was judged far more harshly than many male rulers who used similar methods to hold power. The truth is likely complicated. Wu Zetian could be ruthless. She manipulated the court, she destroyed rivals, but she was also highly capable. Government reforms strengthened the empire. Art and culture continued to flourish. And despite centuries of controversy, history never erased her, because it could not. She achieved what no other woman in over 2,000 years of imperial Chinese history ever achieved. She ruled an empire. More than 1,000 years later, the world still debates her name. Even today, visitors can still see traces of Wu Zetian's legacy across China. At the famous Longmen grottos near Luoyang, many believe the giant Buddha statue was modelled partly on Wu herself. In Luoyang, where she established her capital, festivals and historical performances still honour the Tang Dynasty and the remarkable woman who once ruled there. Modern Chinese dramas, books, museums and television series continue to revisit her life. Because even now, people still cannot stop talking about Wu Zetian. Perhaps that is the true measure of power. Not whether history speaks kindly of you, but whether history can ever stop speaking about you at all. In halls of jade and whispered schemes, she climbed beyond forbidden dreams. Where emperors had always stood, she ruled through iron, fire and blood. Some called her cruel, some called her wise. Truth still shifts through ancient lies. Yet through the centuries, clear and plain, the dragon throne still speaks her name. If Wu Zetian's story inspired you, subscribe and share this video with others. Tell us where you are watching from and which forgotten historical figure we should awaken next. Join us as we awaken the past, one story at a time.